On an assignment in the middle of nowhere Serbia, lost in the wilderness, stranded, framed, and left for dead. You're an agent, and it seems like everyone is out to get you. Welcome, dear viewers, to A.A.U. Black Site. A few weeks back, I was given access to the demo of Black Site. I wasn't able to deliver on time, but I'm thankful to Vook and Raspberry Studios for reaching out to me to get my feedback and giving me access. Full disclaimer, this is not a paid video, nor is it sponsored. All feedback and points I make in this video are my own. Also, this is an earlier build of the demo. I've spoken with Vook, and they said they're taking in user feedback and are making updates to the demo and the game as they go along. Lastly, this video is gonna sound super critical of this demo. Not because I dislike it or anything, but rather I want to share my opinion, feedback, and suggestions. So please don't think I'm nitpicking stuff just for the sake of it. I'm trying to give genuine feedback, something that may or may not help the developers on this project, so let's get started. The demo starts off in a rather cheerful way. We are strapped to a chair, there's a pool of blood around our feet, and there's a madman with a pig mask chanting weird stuff. And also there's ghostly apparitions examining us closely.
And the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them.
Using my highly specialized training, I managed to break out of the chair. Immediately I got handed a hammer, and you know what that means.
Go on.
So, starting off, there's a lot to take in. Graphically, I think this looks interesting, even in its in-development stage. While some part of it go for the realistic approach, like the outside, the interior, or at least how the light sources are done in the interior, are very stylistic. What I mean is, there's a lot of saturated bright neon lights that reflect off of surfaces. Then there's a lot of graphical effects like ray tracing, real-time reflections, light scattering, dynamic resolution, and so much more. Though I will disclose that I was playing this on a mid-tier 1660 Super GPU, and that's the most powerful PC I had on hand to test this out. So if you have a more powerful rig than mine, this'll look even better. Anyway, gameplay-wise, this reminded me of two things: Outlast and Condemned, and later Rainbow Six in some ways. The movement feels like Outlast, it's grounded, slower paced, careful, while the melee combat heavily reminded me of Condemned. The stealth takedowns are brutal and bloody. The feeling of hitting someone with a hammer on the head shakes the camera and it flashes the screen. Though I would suggest the developers to slightly amp it up, make it even more shaky, make it more brutal. Also, I will say that adding a blocking feature might go a long way, specifically when you're fighting other melee enemies. This will add depth and strategy to the melee combat. One of the major gripes I had was this low health indicator where the screen gets bloodied. While it's a good idea, I think scaling it back a little bit will be better. Because right now it really obscures a lot of the player's vision. Because the game goes for a minimal HUD approach, you only see your stats when you press the tab key. So I feel like there's so much going on the screen sometimes that it makes it a little frustrating to recognize what's going on. But I do appreciate the game not going for the auto-regenerating health mechanic. Instead you have these injections that you have to slap yourself with to get your health back. That's much better. Next we get our hands on a double-barrel shotgun, and oh boy, now this was fun. Landing headshots or blowing bucks into the enemies up close was awesome. Fantastic and smooth animations, great sound effects, and of course, the baller soundtrack. This was cooking up to be something special.
Shit! Find cover!
Overall, the gunplay of this game in this demo feels satisfying. The punchy sounds of the gunfire plays a big part, but that's also what I want to focus on. The guns may feel impactful, but they don't feel as heavy as I'd like it to be. Maybe it's a personal preference. And not because of the animations or the models, but rather there's an oomph missing from the sound effects. The punchy sounds do feel nice, but I think there's also should be a little bit of bass, or maybe, I don't know, DSP effects like echo or reverb if you're in a large hall or outside. I also like that with some weapons you can cant them, or canted sight, I don't know what this is called, and you can also lean. That's pretty cool too. Now regarding the story, there's not much to go on, and that's good, at least for the demo. You're just stuck in the middle of somewhere and both these rough looking fanatics want to kill you, but then these special ops people are after you too. You gotta be really tactical about your positioning in this. I wouldn't say it has to be like you're playing Rainbow Six Siege or something, but still, you can't just run and gun. You will get shot down like a dog if you just run into the enemies blind. Coming out of the basement, I was amazed by how good the graphics were, even on medium settings. The heavy rain, the nighttime sky, it all felt moody. Fighting these enemies in the dark alley with just my flashlight was an intense experience. But I do want to say there should be at least some sort of lighting. Look at games like Half-Life 2 or other great shooters of their time. They always have some ways for the player to distinguish between the enemy in the background and their surroundings. Here it felt a little too realistic, and sometimes I was shooting nothing in the dark. This outside shooting set piece was still great though. I had enemies coming at me on the ground level and from the walkway above me. And even then, I felt like some magic was missing from this area. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but some nicely placed light sources will add a lot of contrast to this section. After this, we head back down and get a hold of a sniper rifle and an assault rifle. I was really impressed by the game's somewhat large collection of weapons. For an indie game, especially its demo, there's a lot of variety. So with the sniper, we come across this unique looking section. We're in this tight square garden and there's snipers swarming us all over from above. It was a cool little section. Though it would be cool to have a section in this game inspired from that one mission from World at War, where it's basically an intense 1v1 between two snipers. That would be pretty cool. After this, the locked door blows open and there's those soldier guys again. I do gotta mention, if I didn't say it before, while the flashlight works pretty nicely, I feel like the exposure, or rather the curve of how it shifts, should be dialed back a little. Sometimes the flashlight becomes your enemy. It kind of irritates the vision when you're in an intense fight, or maybe it's just my bad eyesight, but sometimes it hurts the eyes. Anyway, hopping from building to building, we end up in a room with one of those soldiers. We punch him back, but we lose our weapons in the process. This animation is cool, but I feel like it needs to be slightly smoothed out. Feels a little stiff. Escaping the dude, we enter the elevator and end up in the upper floor of this apartment complex. Here is where it becomes less Condemned and more Outlast. You see, this isn't just a tactical shooter, but it has horror elements as well.
Radio Uzbekistan News. The only news you can get in this part of the world.
The fire in the Uzbek metal factory, the flames engulfed.
Fuck. You'll need a key to get through that gate. Go check the apartment.
This horror section was pretty intense for the most part. There are some genuine, albeit predictable jump scares in here. There is a story being told here as well, but I'll let you figure that out when you check out the game's demo yourself. This whole section loops a few times, takes about 20 or 30 seconds each round, and every time it feels more dreadful than before. But at the end, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This gave me genuine fear. This seriously made me feel unnerved, and this is where the demo ends. Now, I gotta say, I absolutely love when an indie developer or a small team comes out of left field and gives us a solid project like this. Solid concept, but definitely rough around the edges. I feel like this project has a great start, it has potential, and seeing that it is in early stages of development, I think it has a long way to go. A little tinkering with the post effects, some gameplay changes, and making it more heavy in terms of sound effects might be some of the things that can help it get better. I loved checking out this demo, and again, a big thanks to Wook and Raspberry Studios for giving me early access to this demo before it was launched. And I'm sorry it took me too long to make this video. In any case, I would highly recommend you to check out this game on Steam, play the demo, and wishlist it if you liked playing it. Link is gonna be in the description. I will always promote indie projects like these that show there's a passionate team behind it. But yeah, overall, solid demo, and I look forward to this project and its eventual release in the future. As a bonus, like I said before, here's the game on max settings, but the dynamic resolution is set to best performance. On my 1660 Super, it did give me solid FPS most of the time, but with some jittering here and there. But with the best performance preset, it gave me a solid 60 stable FPS. The trade-off was that it made the visuals very blurry, especially when playing on a larger display. So the dynamic resolution is good, works very well when you set it to balanced, but also note that these performance hiccups are being addressed already. Like I said in the beginning, this video is a recording of an earlier build of the demo. The current build is more optimized than this one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Thanks for watching, and a big thanks and shout out goes to these beautiful benefactors. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.